Hi guys, welcome back to my YouTube channel. If you are joining us today, my name is Oyinda Molalao, and today I didn't come alone. Like this is the very first time I'm bringing a guest on my channel, and I came with somebody that you would need if you're in Canada. In fact, outside of Canada, before you come here, you will need this person. So, who am I talking about today? I'm talking about Ajiri Alibo, somebody that even before I came to Canada sef, I've been hearing his name. You know, when on those groups people are shouting, please help me to put me in this Alberta group, help me do this. Is one of the admins, and he really holds a high position in the financial advising world. So this man is a licensed insurance advisor. He is licensed across Canada, and he has his MBA from Anglia Rockins University in UK. He's really very trained as a PR person. He does everything finance, everything investment, HR, everything he is there. So I brought him here today to talk to us about finances, that things you should know about finances as a new immigrant. Because really, coming to Canada, you need money. And while you're making that money, you need to know how to spend it. You need to know the investment. You need to know so many things about insurance. And I am not vast in that area. That's why I brought him today. So please kindly listen to him. You would learn one or two things. That's why he is here. So, Mr. Ajiri, you have the floor. Thank you so much for coming.
Thank you, Oyin. I'm so excited. I'm one of your biggest fans. I watch your YouTube every time and a great follower too. And I'm happy we're having this session today. I've been looking forward to sessions like this. In most cases, we try to organize it for people before they come into Canada. Because when people come in, they come in with what we call the proof of funds as new immigrants, and they are wondering, where can I put my money? What's the right bank account to open? That's simple. I'm not going to go deep into many things. We can have future sessions because of time, but we're
Okay.
going to look at opening a bank account in Canada.
Okay.
When you come into Canada, there are certain banks that give very good incentives for new immigrants. If you are not aware, you might end up opening a bank account in a place where it will attract a lot of charges, and it's always a problem. So there are certain banks that give rebates on charges for the first year, for most new immigrants, just to save them the cost, because in Canada the financial system is different. A lot of people don't know this. A lot of people want to use the mindset that they had from Nigeria. They want to use it here in Canada, but in most cases, it doesn't work,
It doesn't work.
because every country has its own system. So when you come into Canada, opening a bank account, I don't want to mention any particular bank right now because we're not advertising for any bank right now. So um, there are certain banks that you need to research. If you need more information, you can reach out to me. We can talk more on that. They give you free incentives for the first year. They give you credit cards. I know lots of Nigerians, especially when they come into Canada, they don't want to collect credit. They say, "Oh, credit doesn't work for me," and all of that. But really, in this part of the world, it's a credit-driven economy.
Yeah.
Nigeria is a cash-driven economy. Everything you have, you own, you bought it. But in this part of the world, you need to build credit. That's how the system works. You can't change it. So having a credit card makes a lot of sense. The banks will offer you most times minimum of $2,000 in credit card, which is a good incentive. But credit cards are not bad, but how you use it is what matters. So most times we recommend, that's another session we can have that talk. We recommend don't spend more than 30% of your credit card at every point in time, and try as much as possible to pay it off within the month before the payment cycle reaches. And debit cards are okay because you're spending your cash, but credit card is mandatory because you need to start building a credit score when you come into Canada. The credit score is what is used to determine if you can get a lot of benefits. things like mortgage. They want to know if you have a good credit score. Things like line of credit, they check also if you're good with your credit cards. There are other incentives you get if you have good credit scores. So it's important having a clear bank account that helps you with incentives, and you have good credit cards, and using your credit card the right way can help you live financially free in Canada. Also, let's talk about budgeting, because most new immigrants, when they come into Canada, it's always a challenge for them in most cases. They don't know where to start from, because the first thing you need to do, I'm sure, Inda, you've talked about most of these things on your YouTube channel, where you have to get your SIN. You have to get all of those things in place, because truly you can't open a bank account without having the SIN in place, because they want to be sure that at least you've put all the regulatory things in place before they set up the bank account. So when you complete all of that, the next thing is that you're looking for maybe an apartment, because most people stay in the Airbnb when they come. But you need to have a clear budget. It's important to have a clear budget. It's important to have what we call a cash flow management system. We do this for most new immigrants. We give them a template, because when you come in, you need to because sometimes we are using the big amount, like from the naira perspective. We're coming with 10,000 naira, 1 million naira. Then you're coming here and they're telling you $50, $20. It will look like small money. Before you know it, you're taking Uber from one place to another. Before you know it, your pocket is going, and you're wondering, my POF is going, I've not gotten a job yet. So we have to teach you budgeting and how to save money. There's what we call the tax-free savings account. It's an important account that gives you the opportunity to save money tax-free. Also, the type of savings account you set up matters a lot, because savings account in Canada doesn't work the same way it works in Nigeria. Most times that you have to open a checking account. So um, the tax-free savings account, it's regulated by the government. That it's what do I call it? It's a registered account, because I know most of us were not too familiar with some of these terminologies, but the government allows you to save up to 6,005 maximum tax-free, and you can grow the money in an investment. And it's very important to have a plan like that to start saving for your future. So when you come in, we sit down with you and we do a proper financial analysis to help you know how to start saving money for short-term goals and long-term goals, because most Nigerians, when they come into Canada within 1 year, they're already looking to get a mortgage. How do you save for that? There's what we call the first time home buyer saving plan too. The government just set that up, where you can put a maximum of $8,000 a year into this account. You can contribute for a 4 year period up to a maximum of 40,000. I know for some of you these things are very complex, but I don't want to make finance complex to anybody for anybody. I mean, I want to make it as simple as possible. So there are different registered accounts that you can take advantage of. We have what we call the registered education saving plan. This is what you need to set up for your children when they come, because college education is not free in Canada. So you need to start saving up for your children. So there's what we call the CCB, the child care benefit that most parents get when you come in with children. The government give you certain amount of money every month, towards your children's upkeep and all of that. But what we recommend in most cases is part of the budgeting and financial planning that we do for people. We want you to save at least 100% if possible, or 80% towards the children's education, RESP, because as you grow older into the as the kids grow older, the amount of money that the government gives you reduces. So it's important for you to start investing and saving early enough. So we can use different strategies for you to save for children. But one of the main ones is the RESP, because the government, if you maximize it every year, the government adds $500 every year. And the maximum the government puts in the period of time that you set up the account is 7,200. up to the maximum of 50,000. That's what you can contribute at every point in time. But like I said, that's another topic. Probably we'll have, if you guys have questions over time, we can have different sessions on some of these financial topics. But today, I just want to talk generally on different aspects. You know, Another challenge most people are going to face as they come in as new immigrants is taxes. How do I file my taxes? What do I do? And do I have to set up a CRA account? When do I file taxes? Things like that. So every year, every Canadian file taxes. As long as you're a resident of Canada, you know, um, you have to file taxes. You know, so as time goes on, you have the option of using accounting softwares, free accounting softwares to file your taxes, because most people's taxes are not very complicated. Also, you have the option of using accountants. They are the ones who are specialized to do taxes for people. There are people even from new immigrant centers. Sometimes they offer free tax clinic where you can learn more about taxes. So um we can talk more about taxes and all of that, right? But when you come into Canada, everybody have to file taxes every year, despite the fact that if you're earning an income, the government removes a portion of it. I mean, your employer removes a portion and file and sends the taxes to the government, but you still need to report your taxes because you could have extra income from somewhere else. You know, um, I'm going to talk about investments. you know, um, Most people, when they come in here, you are familiar with bonds, you are familiar with fixed deposits. We don't know how investments work in Canada. There are different investment strategies you can use in Canada. One I mentioned already, TFSA. The RRSP is a registered retirement investment account. It's something that you might want to consider in the near future also. You know, um, but always talk to a financial advisor, because when you come into Canada, you might feel you know it all, but the system is very dynamic. When you have a financial advisor that helps you and guides you, it helps a lot. Then insurance, it's a very, very, very basic thing that every family should have. Most of us have been hearing news of GoFundMe. People coming in to study from our community, Nigerian community, 1, 2 weeks, they get into Canada, they fall sick, they die, and they are the breadwinner of their family. In this part of the world, insurance is important. You can't even get a car without having insurance. You can't have a license plate. Most times, you can't rent an apartment without having insurance for the apartment. Why is this so? In Canada, it's a credit driven economy. In Nigeria, it's a cash driven economy, like we mentioned. A credit driven economy needs to be backed up by insurance. That's why insurance is critical here. But life insurance is a very important component of financial planning. Every family has to be protected, because if a breadwinner dies today, the income stops. But what happens? The the bills, the expenses never stops. So who bears the cost? The spouse that is left behind. So it's always a challenge for the family if there's no insurance in place. So we want to teach you about putting up simple insurance plans that can protect the whole family if life happens. We're not praying that life happens. In Nigeria, we say God forbid and all of this. But what if it happens? What if there's a disability? What if somebody falls critically ill? What kind of protection plan can we put in place? So for new immigrants, we want to help you settle well. We want to develop a small financial plan for all of you to give you some clarity and direction on how to start off. And I really appreciate Oyinda for putting this in place, because we're educating more people, and this is what we try to do for our community. We want to help more people to be financially literate so that they understand things about their finance, retirement planning, short-term financial goals. How do you save money for your mortgage? How do you plan for the near future? Yes, you don't have a family now, but when you start having a family, what are the things you need to put in place before then? I'm going to open it up to question, Orinda. I don't want to talk too much,
Yeah.
but I know most people might have questions in the near future.
Even
Mm.
I have questions.
Okay. Go ahead. Yeah.
Okay. So you were talking about taxes and all of that, and I'm
Mhm.
sure somebody will be wondering, what if I don't have a job? I'm just coming in, I don't have a job. Am I still also supposed to file taxes, or do I bring my taxes from back home? How do I put that together? Because somebody would definitely be thinking, is that possible that I file or I bring all the money that I'm earning from back home and still file taxes, or I don't have a job yet? How do I put that in place?
So even if you don't have a job, you have to file zero tax because you don't have an income at that year, but you still have to file tax. You
Mm.
know, um, the tax you're filing is for the previous year. So you came into Canada, let's say January 2024, but you lived in Nigeria in 2023. So at the end of the day, it's assumed that you file tax in Nigeria. It's assumed that you paid taxes, I mean, in Nigeria. But when you come into Canada and you have no income, but you're already a PR, it's always advisable to file taxes the first time you come. If you fall within the tax period, please file taxes because when you're applying for your citizenship, it is very critical. They want to be sure that you filed at least three taxes in most cases. So if you don't have an income in Canada, just file zero income. Convert whatever you earned in Canada, in Nigeria, convert it into Canadian dollars because you will eventually do that. Even when you're applying for your children's CCB, you're going to do that. So you're going to disclose your income. So it could be a very low amount of income. So there's certain amount you need to earn for you to pay back to the government, but you didn't really earn it in Canada. So you have to disclose it at least and file your taxes. It's important.
Okay. So another question I have is this investment thing. So
Mhm.
if I want to invest, like how much can I start with? Because we are talking to new immigrants
Yes.
that is just coming. Maybe
Yes.
one of the spouse is not working.
Yes.
Like how much can I start with, and how often is the return on the investment? So it can help somebody prepare their mind to say, oh, maybe I can give out this portion of my money monthly.
So we encourage people to save as little as possible. The
Okay.
truth is that in Canada, there's so much expense every day.
Mm.
Most people will say, oh, this expense is too much. I have to pay this bill. And we end up not saving. According to statistics, 73% of Canadians are coming back from retirement because they can't afford retirement. How do you plan for retirement? It's your savings from today. Yes, you're a new immigrant, but you're coming in with POF. You want to spend all your POF on expense. What remains? So everything we earn, there's a seed inside of it, which is supposed to be saved for the future. If you eat everything, then you have no seed for the future. So we always say in finance, the best time to plant a seed is 20 years ago. Because if you planted a seed 20 years ago, you have a tree today.
Yeah.
But what if you didn't plant 20 years ago? The best time is now. So you have to start with what you can afford. You know, everybody, imagine, Oyinda, if you didn't save, how do you have your POF? How can you come to Canada? So we already have that saving culture from Nigeria. So why is it going to be different here? In terms of returns on investment, it's very slow in Canada. Most times, for you to see any reasonable return on investment, you have to wait 6, 7 years.
Wow.
But what matters in Canada is consistency in savings. I've had some investment account that is tax sheltered within 4 years that has grown reasonably well. When I say reasonably well, I'm talking about 17 to 26%. But not everybody knows some of those investments. That's why you need to talk to a financial advisor to guide you on some of the unconventional investments that most people will not look at. But when it comes to returns and investment, it it starts with your risk profile. Are you willing to take higher risk, or are you conservative? Because if you are conservative, then you can't get high returns.
Mm. So if you take higher risk, higher profit, lower, is there middle risk so that we don't enter trouble? And at least you know that even if there is not so much, at least you are just in the middle.
So what we do when we meet our clients is that we do what we call risk profiling. There are certain questions we ask to understand how to diversify your portfolio. So, for example, you're doing $100 a month. We could put $30 in high risk. We can put the remaining $20 maybe in low risk. Then maybe another $40 or something in balance investment, so that at least your portfolio is diversified, you know. So there are many ways we do it with our clients. So, but we have to sit down with them. We have to come up with a financial plan. I love to come up with a plan because we can work towards something, you know. So it's different that you're saving for the future. It's different when you say, I want to save $100,000. It's different, because there are different mindsets we have to put in place, you know.
Honestly, and this is me personally. You've spoken to me about this before, but I think
Yes.
right now I am ready to start up. Really, when I first came in, I'm like, I don't have the money, I'm not working. But right now, I think I'm ready. And I'm sure that anybody listening, you would understand that it's no joke to come to Canada. Hmm. Canada is like, I don't even know how to put it. You would think that there's so much money here, but there isn't so much money. So you need to actually know how to budget. That's all of the things it's saying. Budget to save for home, to save for your kids, to save for yourself even after you are gone. Thank you so much for bringing us this. And I'm sure that we've not gone in depth. We've not even scratched the surface at all. But
So
because we don't want this to be so long, that's why if you need or you want to access him, I'll definitely drop something in the description box so you can reach out to him. You can let him access your needs, your financial whatever, and he will give you the right planning. But me, I have done something for you today. I have brought somebody to talk to you about money. So you know how to spend your money wisely, save your money wisely, and the likes. We are really grateful to you. Thank you so much, sir.
thank
Hopefully,
you.
we'll bring you back some other time.
Yes.
But we're really appreciative of your effort today. And
Thank you
if
so
you have
much.
more questions, please leave the questions in the comment section. He would answer you. If he doesn't have the time, I will help you ask the questions and then I'll answer your questions. So if you have watched today and you have enjoyed this, please don't forget to subscribe. Don't forget to like. Please let me tell them to subscribe.
Please subscribe and like this channel. This channel is very informative. I watch it every time, and I really say kudos to you, Oyinda, for all
Thank
you
you
do.
so much.
Yeah.
Thank you. So thank you for watching today and we'll see you in the next video. Bye bye.
Bye bye.